Out of the 37 projects that we inherited, we have completed 12.
Federal government promises expansive water sector reforms.
Research has shown that we need a minimum of 24,000 tractors annually.
55,000 tractors soon to be refurbished to boost mechanized farming.
This ward for the special hospital to be built.
Senate Oversight Committee endorses pace of work on presidential wing of State House Clinic. Plus, national agencies on child rights partner groups for increased advocacy. Hello and welcome to NTA Network News. We're live in Abuja. I'm Ian Ray John. Michael Aleye joins me from Lagos. With 30 completed water supply projects culminating to over 1.7 million litres per day capacity, development of infrastructure in the water sector in Nigeria from 2016 till date has been described as a great revolution. Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu says there are several other projects that are ongoing and the federal government is partnering states and other stakeholders to meet the water needs of the nation. State House correspondent Dido Nifade reports.
Policy of the Buhari administration since inception is focused on completion of uncompleted projects, some of which had been abandoned for decades. Going by the saying that water is life, the administration, through its Ministry of Water Resources, has touched almost all areas with a view to providing sustainable access to safe and sufficient water for social and economic development needs, as well as adequate sanitation by 2030.
So on the dams, there are over 200 dams in this country with a capacity of 11.2 billion cubic meters for irrigation, 900 million cubic meters for water supply, and 18 billion cubic meters for hydropower. Out of the 37 projects that we inherited, we have completed 12. And 20 more are prioritized for completion by 2023.
Minister Suleiman Adamu says much have been done in the development of infrastructure, and though the supply of potable water rests solely on states, the federal government is intervening through collaboration and partnership with states, the private sector, and non-governmental organizations towards ensuring Nigerians have access to potable water.
Where what we've been doing since 2015, we're being guided by three pillars. The National Water Resources Master Plan that has been existing since 1995, but was never really implemented to the letter. And the Water Sector Roadmap that we developed in 2015, which was approved by Mr. President in June 2016. And of course, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We inherited about 116, 38 irrigation and drainage projects, for 37 dam projects and 41 water supply projects. So after we did a technical audit in 2016, we prioritized them into high, medium, and low. And that has been what has been driving us.
The weekly executive briefing of press is initiated by the presidential media team. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Despite the current turbulent socio-economic conditions in the country and the tough challenges they pose, generating economic growth, eradicating poverty, developing human capital, and building up Nigeria's infrastructural backbone in a sustainable manner is certainly doable, especially with a sense of urgency, says Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. The Vice President says all the tiers of government and critical partners ought to be focused, open-minded and collaborative in meeting shared aspirations, providing better and fuller lives and decent jobs for Nigerians, especially the youths. Vice President Osinbajo expresses this while virtually declaring open the 20th meeting of the Joint Planning Board and the National Council on Development Planning holding in Maiduguri, Borno State. The Vice President, who speaks mainly on the COVID-19 pandemic, security, climate change, education, The Fourth Industrial Revolution and the African Continental Free Trade Agreement notes that these issues require deliberate policy responses and deserve the attention of economic managers. Now, speaking on the government's response to the pandemic, the Vice President said the COVID-19 pandemic has had a unique and devastating impact on health, economic systems and social life, stating that for a vibrant and enterprising people like Nigerians, the whole experience of lockdowns and social distancing has been quite trying, while economic difficulties made existing socio-economic conditions even harder. In other news, the federal government is committing over $11 billion for the commencement of works on the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Standard Gauge Rail. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, told the press after the Federal Executive Council meeting that this is due to its importance to the nation's coastal economy. State House correspondent Didi Onifade reports.
Calabar Coastal Road actually will link all the coastal cities in the country. Actually, the proposed route alignment is as follows: to go from Lagos to Shagamu, Shagamu to Ijebu-Ode, Ijebu-Ode to Ore to Benin City, Benin to Saple, Saple to Warri, Warri to Yanagwa, Yanagwa to Porakot, Porakot to Aba, Aba to Uyo, Uyo to Calabar, Calabar to Akampa, to Ikom Obudu Ranch, with branch lines from Benin City to Agbo, Ogwashuku, Asaba, Onitsha, and Onitsha Bridge, and then Porakot to on a deep sea port.
The other project is the Kano-Jibia route and the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri route. Works and Housing Minister Babatunde Fashola received the nod of the council as the memos concern the commitment of the government to expand and consolidate on the rail projects.
So those are the two, the cost, 11,174,721.74.
In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government resolved to stop importation of petroleum products through the rehabilitation of refineries has again received a boost with the approval for the rehabilitation of Warri and Kaduna refineries. Lydia Sampson reports.
With work already ongoing at the Port Harcourt Refinery, the largest refining company in the country, also confirmed by the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, that the first 15% of the contract sum has been paid to the contractor, and the contractor fully mobilized to site. The Kaduna Refinery, completed and commissioned in 1980, like the Warri Refinery, it was a modern conversion refinery with two parts, a 50,000 barrels per day plant and a 50,000 barrels per day lubes plant for production of lubricating oil blend stock, waxes and bitumen, while Warri Refinery and Petrochemical Company, on the other hand, was the first Nigerian government wholly owned refinery commissioned in 1978. It was built to process 100,000 barrels of crude oil per day, but was later debottlenecked to process 125,000 barrels per day in 1987. Essentially built to add value to some of the refinery byproducts, such as propylene-rich stock and decant oil. Ironically, the refineries has not been producing at optimal capacity. This has in no small measure continuously contributed to the importation of petroleum products. The approval by the Federal Executive Council of contracts for the rehabilitation of Warri and Kaduna refineries at the combined sum of $1.484 billion, and the completion of the rehabilitation of Warri and Kaduna refineries will be in 3 phases.
897,678,800 US dollars for Warri refineries and 586,902,256 US dollars for Kaduna refineries.
The first phase is projected to be completed within 21 months. In 23 months, phase 2 will be completed, and in 33 months, the full rehabilitation will be completed. This is projected to play a critical role in changing the narrative of spending of huge foreign exchange on importation, as refining will be done in country. The Federal Executive Council also approved the acquisition of 20% minority stakes by the NNPC in Dangote Petroleum and Petrochemical Refinery to the sum of $2.76 billion. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
And in agriculture, to boost mechanization in Nigeria, the federal government is targeting the refurbishment of 55,000 broken-down tractors across the country. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, says government will explore public-private partnership to fund the National Tractor Recovery and Refurbishment Project. Mitari Igben brings us details.
Statistics show that tractor density in Nigeria currently stands at 7 tractors per 100 square kilometers. Meanwhile, there are 30 tractors per 100 square kilometers in Kenya and about 100 tractors per 100 square kilometers in developed countries. Officials of the National Agency for Science, Engineering, Infrastructure, NASENI, believe there is need for a special presidential intervention to support the implementation of the National Tractor Recovery and Refurbishment Project already approved by the President.
This 55,000 tractor to be recovered will increase this to 50 per 100 square kilometer. At a maximum of 30% of the prevailing price of a brand new tractor, a broken down tractor can be recovered. Therefore, the scheme will require about 275 billion, which can be funded through different windows.
Research has shown that we need a minimum of 24,000 tractors annually.
The SGF notes that no country can make meaningful progress in agriculture without mechanization, and assures that government will throw its weight behind the tractor recovery scheme towards promoting food security.
NASL has a very principal role to play in this intervention because they have the responsibility to de-risk those transactions through its credit risk guarantee scheme.
The National Tractor Recovery and Refurbishment Project is designed to engage thousands of Nigerian engineers, artisans, and technicians who will be trained by tractor manufacturers. In Abuja, Mitari Igben, NTA News.
Now talking health, the Senate Committee on Federal Character Intergovernmental Affairs has described the proposed development of a presidential ward wing of the State House Clinic as a good initiative. This was during an oversight visit to the State House. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
2 weeks into the 2021 annual recess of the National Assembly, the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs has carried out a rescheduled oversight visit to the State House. The visit was to scrutinize the utilization of funds allocated to the State House in 2018, 2019 and 2020. Before the presentation of the budget performance, Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, on behalf of the President, welcomed the Parliamentary Committee and observed that there is prudent use of resources in the State House as leading example to other ministries, departments and agencies of government.
The State House, by its very nature, has to be a leader in transparency, in openness, and in accountability. These are really issues on which Mr. President feels strongly, and we have to lead by example.
Permanent Secretary to the State House, Tijani Omar, explained that out of the 8.6 billion naira appropriated in 2018, only 5 billion was released. 2.6 billion was released in 2019 out of 6.9 billion, while there was total release of 4.8 billion as appropriated in 2020. He listed some key capital projects undertaken within the period under review.
The construction of the presidential wing, or known as the VIP wing also of the State House Clinic, which was utilized for requisite preliminary works such as geotechnical survey.
This ward for the special hospital to be built for the President, Vice President, and other important dignitaries that will come here for a visit. We don't supposed to come and mix them up with any other person here.
Thereafter, the committee was taken round the State House clinic, site for the proposed presidential and VIP ward wing of the State House clinic. From the State House, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Time for a first break. Do stay. Thank you for staying. The federal government has appealed to the National Association of Resident Doctors to return to work while negotiations continue. Minister of Health, Dr. Sagi Hanurek, who made the appeal in Abuja, observed that it is urgent to correct misinformation in the public domain concerning the industrial action embarked upon by members of the National Association of Resident Doctors. Basi Ita Ekbang reports.
It's now 4 days since the resident doctors resumed strike, alleging non-compliance with agreements reached. But the Minister of Health says the federal government has always proactively engaged NARD to seek solutions to their complaints, assuring that the 12 resolutions outlined by them are in the process of being resolved.
I want to ask all of you to join appealing to our young doctors not to continue to use strike as a tool of which the victims can be people who are caught in between. As the saying goes, when two elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers.
The minister maintained that dialogue remains the best way to resolve issues, noting that Nigerians rely on doctors, especially now that the country is facing trying times in the health sector, stressing the need for the doctors not to give the public a wrong perception concerning the medical profession. Basi Taipang, NTA News.
Nursing mothers in Nigeria have been encouraged to take it with utmost importance, the exclusive breastfeeding, in order to provide the babies with essential nutrients they require for growth and development. This was the central message of the public awareness walk in commemoration of World Breastfeeding Week, put together by Aisha Buhari Foundation under the Future Assured program in collaboration with other development partners in Abuja. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports.
This awareness work is part of the week-long activities organized by the Aisha Buhari Foundation and other development partners, including Federal Ministry of Health and Green Heroes Foundation, aimed to promote and support breastfeeding in Nigeria.
A well-breastfed child would have less instances of health challenges.
We are encouraging mothers to breastfeed their baby exclusively for the first 6 months of life, without water, without any other thing. But after 6 months, the mother is also advised to add complementary food, because at 6 months, the breast milk is no longer enough.
Heroes were in the barracks to create awareness of breastfeeding for all mothers, to know the importance of breastfeeding, because it's very important for every mother to breastfeed her child. Breastfeeding is more nutritious than giving in a milk.
This year's theme, Protect Breastfeeding, a shared responsibility, is a catalyst to encouraging breastfeeding, improve the health of babies, and adding value to the nation's growth and development. From the State House, Ali Kabir, NTA News.
It is the right of every child to be breastfed. As such, all segments of the society should be informed towards giving support to exclusive breastfeeding, considering the quality and advantages attached to breast milk. This is contained in Article 24 of the Convention of the Right of the Child, major issues raised at the 2021 World Breastfeeding Week. Mujanatu Adamside reports.
The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, 4 million out of the 7 million children born in Nigeria every year are not breastfed properly in the first hour of birth. Research findings also show that the rate of children exclusively breastfed for 6 months increases from 17 to 29%, meaning Nigeria is still significantly below the 50% target set by the World Health Assembly for 2025, as well as the SDG in 2030. These issues are some of the challenges the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, in collaboration with the Office of the First Lady, have been trying to address since 2012.
The vaccine is safe. The vaccine has protected lives of millions of children. The vaccine does not require any cold chain and is relatively cheap. And that vaccine is what? Breast milk.
It helps her as the uterus contracts postpartum. It helps her with better child spacing.
Mandatory for every organization to have a crèche so that we can encourage and promote breastfeeding for our children.
In Abuja, Murjana 2, Adam Said, NTA News.
Still focusing on children, the National Center for Women Development has inaugurated Dr. Aisha Buhari NCWD Daycare Center with a view to encourage breastfeeding and productivity of working mothers and their babies. Ngozi Silva Technica reports that the inauguration ceremony was performed by the wife of the Vice President on behalf of the nation's First Lady.
That marks the official inauguration of the renovated daycare center, equipped with the state-of-the-art facilities to suit the well-being of children between the ages of 4 months to 3 years. Wife of the Vice President, Dolapo Osibajo, who stood in for the wife of the President, Aisha Buhari, emphasizes the importance of providing a conducive working environment for women and breastfeeding mothers.
The National Center for Women Development today is providing that enabling environment to support women's participation in the economic sector.
I want to use this opportunity to once again call on all organizations at all levels to key into this initiative of setting up support facilities for working class mothers.
And when women have economic decision-making powers, one of the things they always invest in is their children and their children's education.
As long as I will be in this center, I must be able to maintain it over the period.
The daycare center was built 30 years ago and named after Nana Kofi Annan, but had long been dilapidated. Ngozi Silva Technical, NTA News.
Now looking at health, more Boko Haram Islamic State West African province terrorists are surrendering as troops of Operation Hiding K conducting counterterrorism operations in northeast Nigeria escalate ground and air offensive operations against the terrorists. A statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Onwachukwu, says sustained air and artillery bombardments on the enclaves of the terrorists in Sambisa Forest and its environs have continued to yield positive results as 56 terrorists and their families laid down their arms, abandoning the groups and their illicit cause. Meanwhile, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, has lauded the troops for their effort and charged them to remain dedicated and committed in the fight until the terrorists are completely decimated. Minister of Environment Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar has presented a national diploma curriculum in epidemiology and disease control to the public at the first National Summit on Environmental Health. This is in response to recent medical concerns like the COVID-19 pandemic, cholera and Lassa fever outbreak in parts of the country. Onengiye Fineface reports.
National Diploma in Epidemiology and Disease Control is a curriculum and course specification designed to provide benchmark for practitioners, especially in managing infectious diseases.
As a goods and service-based profession, environmental health has potential to impact the economy positively, but more so to reduce the burden of diseases, as a great majority of the diseases afflicting man are environmentally based.
With the understanding that the COVID-19 pandemic is still ravaging countries with new variants have roots in man's interaction with the environment, the National Summit seeks to empower practitioners to effectively combat insanitary and unhygienic behaviors responsible for diseases and infection transmission.
It's common knowledge that COVID is a serious threat and will continue to be a major focus of concern, and the Nigerian Environmental Health Committee must recognize the persistent environmental threats which still remain beyond the current pandemic.
If they are able to recruit this set of professionals, they will work and address the issue of diseases that are communicable in nature.
The summit also aims to identify barriers to environmental health and provide solutions to reduce disease burden in Nigeria. Onengiye Fine Face, NTA News.
Let's pause here in Abuja and let Michael feed us with more news from Lagos. Michael, it's over to you.
Thank you, Iyari. The Customs Strike Force Team Zone A has arrested 3 suspects for stocking pangolin scales and elephant tusks worth 22.3 billion naira. The Controller General of Customs, Hamid Ibrahim Ali, while showcasing the seizure, says the service is on the hands of the kingpin.
Elephant and pangolin belong to the family of more than 37,000 species of plants and animals regarded as endangered, and Nigeria, as signatory to the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, cannot watch while the illicit trade flourish. Credible information and collaboration led to the interception of these 196 sacks containing 17,137.40 kilograms of pangolin scales, in addition to 4.60 kilograms of pangolin claws. The customs say high demand for wildlife in Southeast Asia makes Nigeria a strategic transit location, which invariably led to its surveillance and interception of items at a location on the eastern side on Ijeoma Street, Lekki, Lagos.
Already, 3 suspects who are non-nationals have been arrested. The kingpin is on the run, thinking he will evade the long arm of the law. Security agencies at all entry and exit points are on red alert to track and arrest him to face justice. He is therefore advised in his best interest to surrender himself to the Nigerian Customs Service.
The Controller General of Customs wondered why any individual will be used to perpetrate such an illegal trade.
They are brought in by foreigners, and then our own people are used as the conduit to export this thing. Why should we be the hope of this export?
While reiterating its willingness to treat as confidential any information that will assist the agency to reduce smuggling activities to the barest minimum, the Controller General promised to extend same treatment to any person or organization remotely connected to illegal trading of wildlife.
300 intending pilgrims from the southwest have been enlisted to perform the 2020 Christian pilgrimage in the Kingdom of Jordan. Executive Secretary, Nigeria Christian Pilgrims Commission, Reverend Yakubu Pam, charged the Christian faithful to be patriotic and fully maximize the opportunity to intercede in prayers for Nigeria. Abolade Salami reports.
One after the other, the 300 intending pilgrims made their way into Chapel of Christ Church with members of their families, providing assistance with some luggage, before embarking for profiling, where they were informed of the basic information as regards rules guiding their movement all through the spiritual exercise in the Kingdom of Jordan. With a heart full of appreciation, they rendered different renditions to God for making this day a reality. Executive Secretary, Nigeria Christian Pilgrim Commission, Reverend Yakubu Pam, without mincing words, told the intending pilgrims that pilgrimage is not a tourism enterprise, but a spiritual exercise aimed at strengthening and building their Christian faith.
This is the heartbeat of NCPC, that we should witness zero abscondment in this exercise. And we are telling Nigerians that we will go, the same number that goes, the same number will come back, because we love our father's land.
The spiritual exercise, some intending pilgrims say, will be used to renew their faith in God and pray for one indivisible Nigeria.
Seriously going to pray for Nigeria as a whole, that God should restore security, peace back to Nigeria.
So I believe that being there, concentrating without any form of distraction, I am going to pray to God, and God will answer my prayers.
The Program Commission says 866 pilgrims participated in the exercise for the first 3 batches to the Kingdom of Jordan. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. More reports shortly after this break. Please stay.
Glad to have you back. Let's now talk business with Benny Adams. Benny.
Yeri, thank you and welcome to Business. Expanding the nation's tax net is seen by the Executive Secretary of Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NTA, as the tonic needed to generate revenue and invest in ongoing economic recovery. Dr. Ogbonnaya Oji Ogbonnaya revealed this on a visit to management of Federal Inland Revenue Service in Abuja. NTA is of the view that the FIRS should expand its oil and gas desk to include the entire extractive sector.
Oil and gas is one part of the extractive industry. It needs to be expanded to have a team in the solid minerals. It needs to be expanded to cover beneficial ownership, disclosures, contract transparency. It needs to be extracted to even areas of environment. There is no area that we know that tax is not involved.
We will therefore request for your support to build up our database by sharing with the FIRS data obtained from other stakeholders such as NNPC, DPR, Minister of Mines and Steel, Development, oil and gas companies, solid mineral players. I appreciate what you are doing for Nigeria, particularly the $3 billion dollars you have already recovered for this country and the $20 billion that you have identified as collectible. We can assure you that together we will make sure that the $20 billion is recovered.
Around the capital market, investors lost 65.82 billion naira as the all-share index dips by 0.32% to close at 38,801.51 basis points, with market capitalization at 20.2 trillion naira. 139.7 million shares valued at 1.4 billion naira exchanged hands in 3,655 deals. Market breadth closed positive, as corn oil led 18 gainers as against 16 losers, topped by Adova. UBA, Guarantee and Zenith Bank were the most active to boost market turnover. That is business news. Here is over to you.
Thank you, Benny. Away from business, Nigeria has constituted a forum that is to pave way for greater access to justice for the nation's children. The launch of the forum is a collaboration of the Federal Ministry of Justice, the European Union, UNICEF, and the Nigerian Police. Femi Okiewo reports.
Nigeria has of recent been battling with an increasing number of out-of-school children. There is also the problem of abuse of the various rights of the children, all of which end up with the child not being able to secure justice. This is why the federal government has sought the collaboration of relevant international organizations to lift the children from its high level of vulnerability.
Everywhere, groups of children are being left behind as victims of prejudice and discrimination. Among the most vulnerable are children born into poverty, children in detention, children on the streets, and children with disabilities. Yet, only a fraction of children whose rights are violated come forward and seek redress.
In order to bring about an effective implementation of the Access to Justice program for the children, the forum draws membership from a wide range of sectors that will help facilitate the government's intention.
Children are on the move, and for various reasons, ranging for whether they are voluntarily or involuntarily.
The Legal Aid Council already provides a range of criminal and civil legal services.
The committee is expected to be a standing committee, continuously providing better access to justice for the Nigerian child. In Abuja, Femi Okiewo, NTA News.
Still on legal matters, the Nigeria Police Force and the Nigerian Bar Association have resolved to advance the course of criminal justice in the country. This is when leadership of the NBA visited the force headquarters in Abuja. In a statement, the IGP pledged to work in synergy with the NBA and a joint committee soon to be established aimed at harmonizing functions and developing new framework for promoting due process and the rule of law in resolving unnecessary disputes between police officers and defense attorneys and promoting respect for the rights and privileges of the citizens during criminal investigations. President of the NBA, Dayo Akpata, applauded the force for reforms initiated towards promoting the rights and privileges of the citizens and further advocated for enhanced collaboration between them as cardinal players within the Nigerian criminal justice system and the force. In other news, Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum has ordered Borno State Police Command to immediately investigate a violent collusion between a joint security task force operating with Borno Geographical Information System and some worshippers at a branch of EYN Church, Maduganari, ward of Maiduguri, the state capital. This followed the emergency meeting the governor held with leadership of Christian Association of Nigeria at the Government House, Maiduguri. Mohammed Goni reports.
Governor Babagana Umara condemned in strong terms the firing of gunshot by a member of security task force during an encounter in which one person died and 5 others sustained injuries.
Borno State Government has directed the Nigerian police and GSS to immediately investigate the matter thoroughly. The outcome of the police investigations and recommendations shall be forwarded to my office for immediate action.
Governor Zulum, who commiserated with families of the person who died and those injured, has called on membership of CAN to remain calm and law-abiding as government will do justice to the matter. The governor also said he directed the Deputy Governor, Umar Usman Kadafur, to visit those injured receiving treatment at the hospital but were found to have been discharged. Professor Babagana Umar added that, aside the immediate steps taken, government will also undertake both medium and long-term measures to forestall future occurrence.
Incidences of ethno-religious crisis has never happened in our state. All we can say, it is a moment of grief. Therefore, I call you to sympathize with you so that this issue will not degenerate to something else.
A coalition happened when officials of Bogis, alongside Joint Security Task Force, went to church for regulation of land administration and urban development measures, some of which have affected worship centers, including mosques and churches, built without obedience to laid down regulations. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
And in Gombe, the two-day third annual summit of peaceful coexistence and nation building by the Dawa Coordination Council of Nigeria has opened. Emmanuel Akila reports that the Sultan of Sokoto used the occasion to sue for tolerance and peaceful coexistence.
This set the tone for discussions on the theme peaceful coexistence, social cohesion, and national development for the third annual summit of peaceful coexistence and nation building by the Dawa Coordination Council of Nigeria, the Sultan of Sokoto, and the former Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, Cardinal John Onayekon represented, appealed to Nigerians to return to the teachings of the holy books for solutions to the challenges in the country.
No religion has asked anybody to kill somebody. Terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, whatever it is, against Islam and Christianity.
Religious bigotry, sentiments are on the rising. We need to stay together in peace.
We must wake up and follow through the ethics, the court, because these two great religions are codified, the Quran and the Bible, and none of them said we should not be our brother's keeper.
The governor, who received the Sultan at Government House Gombe, led him to inaugurate the road project named after the Sultan, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, and that of Cardinal John Onayekon as part of the Network 1100 Roads project of the Ino Yahaya administration. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
The federal government has commenced implementation of the National Livestock Transformation Project designed to address challenges affecting livestock production in the country. The project is designed to accommodate 15,000 cattle breeders. The project, which kicked off in our local government area of Nasarawa State, is supported by the Netherlands towards boosting milk and other dairy products. Musa Baba Aliyu reports.
Manu and his family, with about 50 herds of cows, sheep and camels, on their way to Katsina after spending 12 months in Nasarawa State in search of greener pasture. There are thousands of livestock breeders like Manu moving with large number of animals daily. The social and economic issues associated with this kind of movement have become a major security threat nationwide.
This single program, if by the grace of God we succeed in delivering it, that will solve a lot of the problems that we encounter today with this particular calling in our sub-economic sector.
Consequently, the federal government introduced a national livestock development project aimed at providing panacea to farmers' herders conflict.
This model ranching hub is designed to be a knowledge hub, where pastoralists will get to learn modern ways of cattle rearing and the associated practices through direct hand-holding by experienced experts.
We are grateful today to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making it possible for her to have a president that will look back and turn around this fortune.
20 states, including the FCT, have agreed to key into the livestock development project.
Ranching is not a business that is exclusive for one particular ethnic or religious group. It's a venture that is open to all people who are ready to invest and earn good income.
The project in Nasarawa is to be implemented on 20 hectares of land to accommodate 360,000 households.
Security challenges are one of the main reasons why we took this goal as serious as we have.
Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Now talking politics, a meeting of the People's Democratic Party Board of Trustees and the National Working Committee has held in Abuja towards resolving the recent internal crisis rocking the party. Timothy Yusuf reports that the meeting held at the National Secretariat of the party in Abuja with a special committee set up to resolve all areas of dispute.
If Secondus does not resign, I am going to leave the party.
Where does Secondus not want to sacrifice for the party like all the previous chairmen that have done the same thing?
The calls for the resignation of the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Prince Uche Secondus, informed this meeting of the party's Board of Trustees and National Working Committee, which also had the presence of the Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike. The resignation of 7 elected members of the National Executive Committee, citing lack of inclusion by the Prince Uche Secondus-led National Working Committee, is the major agenda of the meeting. Findings, according to the chairman of the PDP Board of Trustees, Senator Wali Jibril, show that no national chairman of the party since inception has completed their tenure of office. With 3 months to the end of the Prince Uche Secondus-led NWC, the BOT chairman and Uche Secondus are of the view that any crisis at this point in time, when plans for a peaceful national convention are already heightened, will be counterproductive.
Anyone that takes the party to court should be seriously disciplined. The issues must be tabled and discussed and come out with solutions.
We resolved in the meeting to set up a committee that will look at the situation, will resolve the way forward.
Meanwhile, the concerned elders forum of the PDP, with most of its members in the BOT, is urging all party organs, officers and members to remain calm, faithful and orderly as it proceeds with urgent consultations and initiatives to resolve the contending issues. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari rejoices with the chairman of the North-East Development Commission, NEDC, and the former military administrator of Old Oyo State, Major General Paul Tafa, retired on the occasion of his 80th birthday anniversary. The president describes him as a dedicated professional and a selfless patriot whose contributions and sacrifices for national development are worthy of emulation. President Buhari notes the passion and commitment that Major General Tafa brings to bear towards the alleviation of the sufferings of Nigerians as the chairman of the NEDC, as the general turns an octogenarian. President Buhari rejoices with family, friends and associates at the dawn of the new age, wishing him longer life and excellent health in the service of God and humanity. The Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talin, has commended the 2 Olympians whose successes placed Nigeria on the medal table at the ongoing Olympics in Tokyo, Japan. Blessing Oborodudu won a silver medal in the women's freestyle wrestling, while her compatriot Ese Brume claimed a bronze medal in the women long jump. The minister describes as gratifying to watch the moment when the Nigerian flag was being hoisted, accompanied by the national anthem.
On behalf of Nigerian women and the girl child, wish to specially congratulate President Muhammadu Buhari, the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Sunday Dare, for supporting our dedicated champions, Blessing and Essay, to achieve this amazing feat. You have done us proud and we celebrate you.
The minister says the successes recorded by the ladies is a true reflection of the resilience and determination of women to fill the gaps in Nigeria's overall quest for greatness. Congratulations to the women, and I have another woman here for sports updates. Tamara, it's over to you.
Thank you, Nyere, who welcome to Sports Updates. Nigeria Ambassador to Japan, Abubakar Moriki Husseini, hosted Team Nigeria at the Nigerian Embassy in Tokyo Thursday. He thanked them for the good work and quality representation they have given Nigeria, especially the medalists who made the country proud. Youth and Sports Minister Sunday Dare expressed his delight for the support received from the Nigerian Embassy in Japan. Staying with Olympics, Team Nigeria's Olympic Games campaign will come to an end Friday with 19-year-old Adijat Idris competing in the 50 kg class of the freestyle wrestling event. Adijat is the youngest of the wrestling team to the Olympics and a debutant at the Games. Away from Olympics now, the Nigeria Professional Football League 2020-2021 season ended Thursday. Abia Warriors defeated Nasarawa United 3-1. Dakar FC lost 1-3 to Enyimba International, while Kwara United were 3 goals better than Katsina United. Rivers United joins league champions Akwa United to secure CAF Champions League spots, while Enyimba will play in the Confederation Cup. Jigawa Golden Stars, Warri Wolves, FC Fayuba and Adamawa United are relegated. Away from football now, the 2-week-long Children Development Golf Clinic at the IBB International Golf and Country Club Abuja ends Friday. Wife of the Speaker, House of Representatives Salamatu Gbajabiamila, enjoins organizers to expand the scope to reach more children.
It's wonderful that they're able to have this opportunity, and I'd like to see this opportunity extended to more children so that more children are playing sports in the summertime.
We're trying to put them into categories to know their capability. That is what will determine what division to put them.
At last, Lionel Messi, who will be leaving Barcelona due to financial and structural constraints disclosed by the club. Nyere, what do you make of this?
Wow, that's a big blow for Barcelona. We wish Messi all the best. Thank you, Tamara. Now, before we go, let's take a quick look at the weather outlook for Friday.
There. Friday will start with cloudy conditions and some good spells of sunshine over the north, though our attention is to parts of Sokoto, Kebbi, Kaduna, Bauchi, Adamawa and Taraba states, where we expect some good chances of thunderstorms. Good cloud coverage for the central cities with some rain showers over the FCT, Niger, Nasarawa, Benue and parts of Kogi State. For the southern cities, there are prospects of rain showers to parts of Bayelsa, Cross River and Akwa Ibom. Going through the afternoon, rain chances are to the southwest, and that includes Delta, Bayelsa, Edo, Cross River and parts of Imo. A drift of thunderstorms across the central region and to some parts of Yobe, Jigawa, Kano, Bauchi and Gombe. And that's it from this end. Thanks for watching. I am Akabi Samarda.
And that's our package on Network News tonight. Many thanks for being a part of it. And just so you know, rape is a crime. Stop the silence and join NTA in the fight against rape and rapists. I'm Yen Ray John. Good night.